out this message to the Canadian Prime Minister of launching this launching this dictated attack at India time and again, especially with no basis. India says that Canada has not been able to prove anything as far as these allegations are concerned. And with regards to the latest that's come in for the High Commissioner Sanjay Kumar, India says all of this is being done by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau for political gains, given his association with the certain political parties on Canadian soil. Let me go across to my colleague Siddhant Mishra joining us with more details. Siddhant, take us through the manner in which we've seen a very stern response come in from MEA earlier. You know, when the Nijjar killing allegations were first levelled by Canada, we saw a very measured response with India saying it will look into the allegations. But the manner in which Canada has only continued to escalate the matter with no proof whatsoever, India now saying enough is enough.
Well, look, honestly speaking, India was looking at the possibility of de-escalating or perhaps, making sure that relation, if not going back to normal, then the process should start. The cool-off should start. And perhaps that is what India was eyeing on. But because of the compulsion of domestic politics, vote bank politics, NDP has left Mr. Trudeau. Jagmeet Singh, his brother, his friend, is no more with him in alliance. The promises that he had made to his people, the Canadian people, have not been fulfilled. His approval ratings are dropping with each passing week. And perhaps that is the reason that, the only resort, the only option left for Mr. Trudeau is to blame India for Nijjar's killing. Almost a year has passed. There has not been a single piece of evidence shared with government of India regarding the involvement of any of the Indian official or Indian citizen in the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Point number one. Point number two is that the senior most officer of the Indian government in Canada, Mr. Sanjay Verma, who is a diplomat of a great reputation, is perhaps now being dragged into the investigation by the Canadians. And in fact, the communication has been extended to New Delhi that your senior most diplomat and other diplomats are the persons of interest in the investigation, which is completely bizarre. A, they enjoy Vienna Convention, and B, a country cannot do like this because they are unable to solve the case. They have failed people to come up with a foolproof investigation. Now, Mr. Trudeau, what they are doing is that they are reaching the diplomatic mission and trying to drag diplomats into the investigation, which has not gone well with the Indian side. And perhaps the strongest and angriest statement ever by the Indian government has been released by the Ministry of External Affairs. 7 times Trudeau's surname has been used in this statement. He has fully been exposed. His political interests have been exposed. His links with the Khalistanis have been exposed. Everything has been written by the Indian side in the statement. And perhaps, it shows that when India was looking at a possibility of restoring normalcy or, coming and speaking to the Canadians, Mr. Trudeau had re-escalated the tensions between the two countries for his own political motives.
Absolutely. So much so that not just his party's political interests, not just Trudeau government's political interests, but also the manner in which the Prime Minister of Canada has been attempting to corner India over this entire issue is also being spoken of, isn't it, Siddhant? With the MEA in the response making it amply clear that even Mr. Trudeau's cabinet has several individuals who've openly associated themselves with extremist and separatist agenda regarding the same. I'll come back to you in just a bit, Siddhant. I want to go across to former diplomat Deepak Vohra joining us on the broadcast. Very good evening to you, sir. What do you make of this most strict warning coming in from the Indian side, the Ministry of External Affairs saying that so far a series of allegations being levelled by Justin Trudeau, and his government, they've not been able to provide India with a single proof to substantiate all of those claims and now continue to, in fact, escalate the issue by levelling baseless allegations against some of its diplomats.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Always a pleasure to be on your channel. I learned so much from you and from the other guests that you have. So thank you. It's a great honor to be on one of the world's best channels. Now, first of all, this guy has described our High Commissioner Sanjay Kumar Verma, whom I know well, one of the finest officers that I've met. as a person, their communications, he's a person of interest. Mr. Trudeau, you are a person of no interest to India. Just out, Trudeau. Man, I'm sorry, I have to use harsh language. He's a drug addict. He doesn't know what he's doing. One of the Sikh political parties that was supporting him pulled out, and now he's trying to rally support from others by saying, I'll do this, I'll do that. I believe that the response we have given, and I have been in diplomacy 52 years and counting, this is the strongest statement, rebuttal I've seen from the Ministry of External Affairs. I've been India's senior most serving diplomat when I was ambassador in Sudan. Of course, we didn't have an occasion for them to come out with statements like this. But this is the strongest. And what I can say in one sentence, it is a message not just to this, the clown of Canada, as we call him, if you spell Canada with a K, and both, well, the clown of Canada with a K, for both clown and for Canada. It's a strong message, not just to him, but to the world, that, ma'am, India is now Bharat. We don't take this lying down. We'll give you back twice as hard. I don't know what we are going to do, but we've already issued the statement. So far, it's the statement. But if this clown says something else, we might be then required to take even stronger action, which in diplomatic terms means that their ambassador, their high commissioner here, might just have to, take a little holiday back home.
And India has been extremely courteous so far, isn't it, Mr. Vohra? Since the beginning of the time when these allegations were first raised, we saw India give a measured response. We saw India willing to look into these allegations personally. But since Canada has failed to provide any proof whatsoever, India has also decided to say enough is enough. And rightly so, because there seems to be no end to these allegations, really.
You are so right, ma'am. You hit the nail on the head. We are very polite. Ma'am, may I say something in Hindi? One sentence which I'm sure you'll understand.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Hum Chanakya ki santan hai. Kaun hai this kid of yesterday who's coming and trying to take on the diplomatic expertise that India has for 2,400 years? He's an idiot, this fellow. But may I just say that without producing any evidence, he stands exposed. So now what the next thing will be, we'll discuss this with our allies, we'll talk to our partners. I say, you think your partners are interested who killed your darling plumber, that Nijjar character? And I also learned from totally unreliable sources that now this character, this buffoon, is going to erect Nijjar statues in every city with brandishing an AK-47. Below that will be written, Harjit Singh Nijjar, the savior of the world. The man has totally lost it. I think if elections were to be held, my friends in Canada tell me, today his party would not get even one seat. He knows this, man.
And how do you assess this, playing out for Canada, for Justin Trudeau in Canada, Mr. Vohra? Because, at the cost of a political gain, he's trying to play around with a global player like India, and that's going to come with some consequences. He's willing to take that risk, it seems.
It's no risk. He knows what the consequences are. You're playing around with the fourth largest economy in the world. And in any case, this guy, ma'am, you've been getting reports. I've been seeing on your channel, you've done the best coverage of how our students are lining up, postgraduates are lining up to become cleaners or waiters in Canadian restaurants because they're not getting jobs, how rents are skyrocketing, how there's a lot of racism going on, etc., etc. So all this nonsense that he is now talking is meant to reassure, to divert the attention of his own people, many of whom, as racist as he is, are saying that, look, we throw these fellows out, all these characters from Asia who've come here, all these refugees who've come, immigrants who've come, kick them out. So he's trying to divert their attention. He's not going to succeed. As we say, ma'am, about Canada, as was said by the French thinker, I think Jean-Baptiste, he had said, La plus ça change, la plus c'est le même. The more it changes, the more it is the same. Canada under this clown is not going to. It's a nice country. I've been there several times. I was in the United States, but he has messed up his nation.
And he has, to an extent, seen the diplomatic fallout of messing with India to this extent. We saw the manner in which there were so many visa hurdles that Canada had to face for a brief period of time. But seems like he's not learnt his lesson as yet, Mr. Vohra. Stay on with us, though, sir. We'll come back to you in just a bit. We also need to put out a bit of breaking news update coming in. This is CNN News 18 mega exclusive. Top intelligence sources sharing some very important details with us. Now, we do know that the External Affairs Ministry has made it amply clear that this is Justin Trudeau, his government under political compulsions. That's why it's acting against India, the manner in which it is naming Mr. Sanjay Verma as part of a conspiracy to please the Sikh community there. Trudeau government, remember, as is a minority government, the word coming in from intelligence sources is that this government could fall any day. So it's a political chance he's willing to take, but whether or not it's worth it, not quite sure. Let's talk about other details we've picked up, and this one is very important. The investigating agency there, RCMP, arrested Sikh youths who are suggesting that Nijjar was killed due to a gang war. This is what makes it so very interesting, Mr. Vohra, that this could be a result of a gang war, and the Trudeau government not really wanting to look into this set of allegations coming in from their own investigating agencies and wanting to conveniently pin the blame on India, and they have no proof to substantiate the same.
Oh, absolutely, because they've been very liberal. Remember what happened to Kanish several years ago before you were born, ma'am, that Air India aircraft that went down? And the Canadians said, oh, we found out the guy who was responsible. He's going to spend 2 hours in prison or something like that, and released him. They still have this feeling that India is one of those fourth world countries and we can play around with. Remember, this clown had visited India, had gone to Sabarmati ashram, put on a kurta pajama, did some steps and said it was the Bhangra, and spun the charkha and said, I won the hearts and minds of the people of India. He's autistic, he's retarded, this man. So what he's trying to do now, what your intelligence sources have told you, is spot on, ma'am. He's trying to appease the Sikh community and saying, don't worry, keep supporting me, even though the main Sikh political party supporting him has pulled out. Said, keep supporting me, keep voting for me, because I'm going to stand up for your right. Remember when the farmers were protesting in India, what did this clown say? Oh, Canada will be there to protect the right of free speech. And when his own truckers were protesting against that, they called it the mandate for the inoculation of the virus, or the vaccine mandate, they called it, that you have to have that, etc. There he called out his army. His father had called out the military. His father, that Pierre Trudeau, had called out the military when Quebec was going to secede from Canada. It came within a whisker of seceding. He said, I'm going to use the army to keep Canada united. So this kind of thought process goes on. He is a two-faced hypocrite, ma'am. As a diplomat, I'm not supposed to use this tough language, but then I can't find anything nicer to say about this.
Absolutely. And the manner in which, Mr. Vohra, Canada has not paid heed to the multiple requests sent out by India as far as extradition of some of these wanted persons in Canada is concerned. That's number one. Number two, in fact, we've been flashing those details since a while now, how Gurpatwant Singh Pannu continues to threaten several who are speaking for India, in the interest of India, like Mr. Chandra Arya. Now, how is it that a force like Canada fails to see through this and continues to lie through their teeth?
This is called selective amnesia. He has selective vision. He has tunnel vision. He only sees what he wants to see. About this character, Pannu, ma'am, let me tell you very quickly, when I was posted there, we had a visit by our former Prime Minister, late Prime Minister, Shri Rajiv Gandhi. And there was some, I won't go into detail, but there was some information that some chaps might try to create trouble. And our friends in the United States Secret Service came to me, I was dealing with that, and said, all right, can you tell us about this? We did. And of course, they clobbered those fellows, locked them up for the duration of the visit. This guy is incapable of anything. He can't think straight. So you are absolutely right. I think there's some silvery or goldy character hanging around there. And there's some Bishnoi fellow also who's hanging around there. I don't know what the details are. But he is harboring people he thinks are going to get him elected again. His country, not him. His country is going to regret this. I'm seeing this all over Europe, ma'am. Once again, I stretch, I put my neck, I stick my neck out. I want to say that with all the radical fellows from the Islamic countries who were given asylum or refuge or whatever in Europe, now the Europeans tell us we made a mistake. And Mr. Trudeau, Mr. whatever, just out Trudeau, you too, your people are going to tell you you were the worst Prime Minister in Canada's history. Get ready for
Okay, and that's what sources are telling us as well. His government is on its way out. But Mr. Deepak Vohra, many thanks for sharing that very insightful perspective with us. Thank you for taking out your time, sir. Pleasure talking to you. All right, let's quickly shift our attention with that to the state of Uttar Pradesh that's seen communal tensions the last few hours, and this after a 22-year-old youth was shot dead, this during a procession which was being carried out in Bahraich. The Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has promised strictest of action against the perpetrators in this case. My colleagues on ground have been getting you non-stop details. Take a look at these reports.
मौजूद हैं बहराइच के कबड़िया टोला गांव में, और मैं आपको तस्वीरें यहां पर दिखा रहा हूं। भीड़ जो है, आक्रोशित भीड़, गुस्से में भीड़ आई और इस गांव को आग के हवाले कर दिया। ये जो बाइक आप देख पा रहे हैं, पूरी तरीके से ये आग के हवाले हो गए। गनीमत ये रही कि जो लोग घर के अंदर थे पहले ही वो जान बचा के यहाँ से भाग गए। और जरा आगे की तरफ आइए आप, और यहाँ पर देखिए अभी भी आगजनी है, यहाँ पे आग जल रही है। यहाँ पर तस्वीरें देखिए, आगजनी है, आग जल रही है। और आगे की तरफ आइए, इस घर के अंदर की जरा हम तस्वीरें दिखाएं। जो तखत वगैरह था, वो तखत वगैरह सभी कुछ यहाँ पर पलट दिया गया। और यहाँ पर आइए, मैं अंदर भी यहाँ पर आगजनी हुई है, अंदर आगजनी हुई है। यहाँ पर देखिए तस्वीरों में, यहाँ पर देखिए अंदर आगजनी हुई है। और हम अंदर की तस्वीर आपको दिखाऊं तो ये देखिए, जो तखत वगैरह है, सांस लेने में भी यहाँ दिक्कत हो रही है। और ये पूरी आग के हवाले इसको कर दिया गया है। यहाँ पर तस्वीरें देखिए। बहराइच के महसी इलाके में एक बार फिर गुस्साई भीड़ ने एक घर को आग लगा दिया है। कबाड़ी टोला कहा जा रहा है। इस कबाड़ी टोला में केवल एक ही घर नहीं, 5 घर के आसपास जिन्हें आग के हवाले किया गया है। मैं आपको तस्वीरें दिखाऊं तो देखिए जैसे जैसे हम आगे बढ़ेंगे, देखिए उत्तर प्रदेश पुलिस के जवान यहाँ पर पहुंच गए हैं, काफी ज्यादा तादाद में है। लेकिन 5 के 5 घर को आग के हवाले जो है यहाँ पर उपद्रवी ने कर दिया है। तस्वीरें आप लगातार यहाँ पर देख रहे हैं, ये कबाड़ी टोला के आसपास की ये तस्वीरें हैं। यहाँ पर देखिए, आपको दिखाएं तो अभी आग के हवाले किया गया। धुआं दिखाइए जरा आप। और यहाँ पर देखिए धुआं, हर तरफ आपको धुआं ही धुआं दिखेगा। पहले महसी इलाके के दूसरे तरफ एक एजेंसी को आग के हवाले किया गया और उसके बाद अब 5 घरों में 5 घर जो कि एक यहाँ पर एक साथ थे, उनको आग के हवाले यहाँ पर कर दिया गया है। ये देखिए, मैं घर के अंदर जरा एंटर करता हूँ, घर के अंदर की तस्वीरें। ये देखिए, घर के अंदर ट्रैक्टर को आग के हवाले किया गया। यह है ट्रैक्टर, इसको आग के हवाले कर दिया गया। आप पीछे रहिए, विस्फोट हो सकता है। ट्रैक्टर में डीजल होगा, लिहाजा विस्फोट कभी भी हो सकता है। 1 2 3 गाड़ियां हैं। ट्रैक्टर को पूरी तरीके से आग के हवाले कर दिया गया। दूसरा ट्रैक्टर में आग पकड़ने वाला है। तीसरा उसके बगल में बोलेरो है, वो भी आग के। फायर ब्रिगेड नहीं है, फायर ब्रिगेड यहाँ नहीं है। मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ ने कहा है कि उपद्रवियों को बख्शा नहीं जाएगा। इस वक्त हम बहराइच जिले में हैं और ठीक उसी स्पॉट पे हैं जहां पर मृतक राम गोपाल का गांव है। और उसका जो यहाँ पर जो लोग हैं काफी ज्यादा आक्रोशित है। जैसे ही मृतक राम गोपाल की बॉडी उसके गांव में पहुंची, लोग काफी ज्यादा आक्रोशित है, गुस्से में है यहाँ के लोग। और यहाँ पर देखिए, मैं आपको तस्वीरें यहाँ पर दिखा रहा हूँ, ये सभी लोग जो है काफी ज्यादा गुस्से में है। मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ ने वरिष्ठ पुलिस अधिकारियों से बातचीत की है सब, और उन्होंने जिन लोगों ने भी उपद्रवी मचाया है, जो लोग लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन खराब किए हैं, उनके खिलाफ सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई करने का आदेश यहाँ पर दिया। और देखिए लोग कितने ज्यादा गुस्से में है, क्योंकि राम गोपाल जो है माँ दुर्गा की प्रतिमा को विसर्जित करने जा रहा था और उस दौरान जो है दूसरे समुदाय के लोगों ने हमला बोल दिया और उसके बाद फायरिंग की गई, जिसमें गोली लगी राम गोपाल को। और ये तस्वीरें देखिए, लोग काफी ज्यादा आक्रोशित है, हाथों में इनके डंडा है और यहाँ पर देखिए हाथों में इनके डंडा है। और लोगों का गुस्सा जो है इस वक्त इनके चेहरे पे साफ दिख रहा है। और यहाँ पर देखिए तो और भी तस्वीरें मैं आपको दिखाऊं तो देखिए, हर तरफ जहां भी हम कैमरा पैन करें, आपको केवल और केवल लोग ही आपको दिखेंगे और कि लोग किस तरीके से गुस्से में यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं। और फिलहाल जो है प्रशासन जो है, उत्तर प्रदेश पुलिस के जवान, पीएससी के जवान, पैरामिलिट्री के जवानों को हर तरफ तैनात कर दिया गया है, हर तरफ वो अलर्ट पे हैं। बहराइच में लोग काफी ज्यादा गुस्से में हैं। यहाँ पर जिले की एसपी यहाँ पर पहुंचे हैं, लेकिन लोग अपना गुस्सा यहाँ पर उनके सामने दिखा रहे हैं। और यहाँ पर देखिए, मैं आपको तस्वीरें दिखाऊं तो आप देखिए एसपी के साथ यहाँ पर जाते हुए जितने भी लोग यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं, जितने भी यहाँ पर लोग हैं, उनके लोगों के हाथों में देख सकते हैं आप डंडा है। पुलिस प्रशासन को देखते ही वह गुस्सा भड़क गया उनका। और यहाँ पर देखिए किस तरीके से जो लोग हैं वो निकल रहे हैं अपने घरों से। तो दूसरी तरफ देखिए, गांव के अंदर से लोग जो है हाथों में लाठी डंडा लिए हुए वो बाहर निकल रहे हैं। और इन लोगों की बस एक ही मांग है कि जो लोग वहां पर उपद्रवी थे, जिन लोगों ने लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन खराब किया, उन लोगों के खिलाफ सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई की जाए। तो यहाँ पर आप यहाँ पर तस्वीरें यहाँ पर देख रहे हैं, देखिए हेवी डिप्लॉयमेंट, उत्तर प्रदेश पुलिस के जवानों की हेवी डिप्लॉयमेंट यहाँ पर। और हेवी डिप्लॉयमेंट के साथ गांव के अंदर से इस वक्त जो मृतक रामगोपाल है उनकी बॉडी यहाँ पर आ रही है और लोगों के चेहरे पर आप गुस्सा साफ साफ देख सकते हैं कि लोग किस तरीके से यहाँ पर गुस्से में है। काफी ज्यादा तादाद में कई गांवों के लोग यहाँ पर इकट्ठा हुए हैं और मृतक रामगोपाल का बॉडी जो है वो इस वक्त यहाँ पर आता हुआ इलाके के एसपी जो है वो लगातार आगे आगे यहाँ पर चल रही हैं।
महसी के महाराजगंज क्षेत्र में आज जब एक जुलूस एक मुस्लिम क्षेत्र में से एक मस्जिद के पास से निकल रहा था, वहाँ पे दोनों पक्षों के बीच में कुछ विषय को लेकर तकरार हुए, जिसमें दोनों पक्ष आमने सामने हुए। उसमें आपस में कुछ लोग उत्पात मचाने लगे, जिस घटनाक्रम में एक व्यक्ति को हिंदू पक्ष की तरफ से गोली लगी और बाद में उसकी मृत्यु हो गई। उसी के बाद एक तनाव की स्थिति उत्पन्न हुई, जिससे विभिन्न स्थानों पर जो मूर्ति विसर्जन है उसको रोक दिया गया। जो महाराजगंज में घटना हुई है जिसमें एक व्यक्ति को गोली मारी गई है, उसमें 30 संदिग्ध व्यक्तियों को पुलिस द्वारा ऑलरेडी हिरासत में ले लिया गया है। उसमें मुकदमा पंजीकृत कर लिया गया है और जो मुख्य आरोपी है जो कि भाग गया है उसकी भी लोकेशन ट्रेस हो गई है। उसको गिरफ्तार करने के लिए टीम्स को डिस्पैच कर दिया गया है।
आप देख सकते हैं यहाँ पर सामने एक जो शोरूम था बाइक का, उसको आग के हवाले किया गया। रह कर यहाँ पर धमाके हो रहे हैं। कई बाइक जो अंदर थी उनको आग के हवाले कर दिया गया है। अभी तक यहाँ पर फायर ब्रिगेड नहीं पहुँची है, आग पर काबू नहीं हो पा रहा है। जो सबसे बड़ी इस वक्त चिंता है वो ये है कि ये आग कहीं ये जो आसपास रिहायशी इलाका है, जो घर है, उनको कब्जे में ना ले रहे। और ये जितने भी घर हैं ये एक वर्ग विशेष के हैं, उनको टारगेट किया गया है। इस शोरूम के बगल में एक डिस्पेंसरी है, उसको भी निशाना बनाया गया। आप देख सकती हैं, सुनेंगे ये बीच बीच में ये धमाके की आवाज़ आ रही है, चूँकि जो बाइक हैं उनमें ये एक्सप्लोजन हो रहा है। अब ये थोड़ी लापरवाही ज़रूर है पुलिस की ओर से कि यहाँ पर फायर ब्रिगेड होनी चाहिए थी ताकि इस भीड़ को काबू में कर सके। समय पर इस आग को अगर काबू में नहीं किया गया तो ये आग बढ़ भी सकती है, आसपास के जो घर हैं उनको भी चपेट में ले सकती है। फिलहाल एसपीडीएम खुद इसी इलाके से अब आगे महसी तहसील की ओर गए हैं। आक्रोशित जो भीड़ है उसको काबू करने के लिए एसपी ने खुद लाउड हेलर से अनाउंस किया है कि जहां ज़रूरत हो वहां पर टीयर गैस का इस्तेमाल किया जाए। मैंने खुद सुना है 1-2 राउंड टीयर गैस से फायरिंग भी की गई है आक्रोशित भीड़ को काबू में करने के लिए। आप देख सकते हैं अभी भी इस आग को काबू में नहीं किया गया है और ये जिम्मेदारी बनती है पुलिस प्रशासन की कि यहाँ मौके पर इस वक्त कम से कम फायर टेंडर होना चाहिए ताकि ये आग और भड़क ना जाए, आसपास में जो रिहायशी इलाका है वहाँ तक ना पहुँच पाए। जो कल इंसिडेंस हुआ था, एक युवक की हत्या हुई थी, उसमें FIR दर्ज है, 6 को नामजद किया गया है, 2 दर्जन करीब उसमें अज्ञात है। हालांकि पुलिस अभी तक किसी भी नामजद आरोपी को गिरफ्तार नहीं कर पाई है। लिहाजा यहाँ जो भीड़ है उसका आक्रोश, उसका जो गुस्सा है वो लगातार बढ़ता जा रहा है। लेकिन डीएम, एसपी और डीआईजी कमिश्नर जैसे यहां मौके पर पहुंचे हैं तो आक्रोशित भीड़ को काबू में किया गया है।
जो घटना हुई है वो दुखद है और किस कारण हुई है प्रशासन, शासन और हमारे प्रेस के साथी आप सब जानते हैं। कम से कम प्रशासन को इस बात का ध्यान रखना चाहिए था कि जो प्रोसेशन निकल रहा है उसका रूट क्या है, रूट पे पूरी सुरक्षा है कि नहीं है, पर्याप्त पुलिस है कि नहीं है, और उसके साथ साथ उन लाउड स्पीकर्स पे क्या बजाया जा रहा है। शासन की चूक की वजह से इतनी बड़ी घटना हुई और बहराइच या और जगह जो घटनाएं हो रही हैं उसके जिम्मेदार अगर कोई है तो शासन है, प्रशासन है और इनकी वोट की राजनीति है जिसकी वजह से ये जानबूझ करके करा रहे हैं।
सबसे पहले तो आगजनी की तस्वीरें देखिए, मैं आपको आगजनी की तस्वीरें यहाँ पर दिखा रहा हूँ। ये यहाँ ये देखिए, ये गैस एजेंसी है। हम ज्यादा पास नहीं जा सकते क्योंकि विस्फोट हो रहा है यहाँ पे। ये आगजनी की तस्वीरें हैं और ये आगजनी की तस्वीरें आप देखिए। ये एजेंसी है बाइक की और इस बाइक की एजेंसी में हम आपको तस्वीरें दिखा रहे हैं। इस बाइक की एजेंसी को आग के हवाले कर दिया गया है। पूरी तरीके से हर तरफ आग ही आग, जितने भी दुकानें हैं और मैं और भी क्लोज तस्वीरें आपको यहाँ पर दिखाऊं। पुलिस फिलहाल यहाँ पर थोड़ी दूरी पे है, लेकिन ये देखिए पूरी तरीके से जितनी भी ऑफिसेस थे ये एक दूसरे समुदाय का बताया जा रहा है। इसको आग के हवाले किया गया है, ये एक दूसरे समुदाय का है। यहाँ पर देखिए जरा इधर आइए, इधर आइए, जरा और भी तस्वीरें हम दिखाएं, हम भी और भी तस्वीरें दिखाएं। ये तस्वीरें देखिए यहाँ पर, ये तस्वीरें देखिए, ये दवाई की दुकान है, मेडिसिन शॉप है, मेडिसिन को बाहर निकाला गया, उसके बाद मेडिसिन शॉप को आग के हवाले कर दिया गया। अब लाइट, अब यहाँ पर देखिए फोर्स भी यहाँ पर पहुंच गई है। बाहर जो यहाँ पर देखिए, मैं आपको तस्वीरें दिखाऊं तो यहाँ पर देखिए, ये मेडिसिन शॉप के अंदर के सामान है, अंदर के सामान है, उसको आग के हवाले किया गया है। लेकिन सवाल यही उठता है कि क्या इस तरीके से आप न्याय मांगते हैं? न्याय मांगने का भी एक प्रोसेस होता है क्या? लेकिन क्या इस तरीके से आप न्याय मांगते हैं? यहाँ पर देखिए आगजनी, हम केवल आगजनी की तस्वीरें दिखाएंगे कि इस इलाके में आगजनी किस तरीके से हुई है। आगजनी की तस्वीरें हम आपको दिखाएंगे। ये देखिए, ये दुकान है, इस दुकान में भी आगजनी हुई है। और मैं आपको दिखाऊं, और मैं आपको दिखाऊं तो यहाँ पर देखिए, ये बाइकों की एजेंसी है, अंदर से धमाके की आवाज आ रही है। पीछे चलिए, पीछे चलिए, अंदर से धमाकों की आवाज आ रही है। किस तरीके से यहाँ पर आगजनी जो है वो यहाँ पर किया गया है। और एक तस्वीर हम आपको दिखाएं, और एक तस्वीर दिखाएं, और भी ज्यादा पुलिस फोर्स यहाँ पर डिप्लॉय। अब पुलिस फोर्स यहाँ पर धीरे धीरे आती है। उत्तर प्रदेश पुलिस के जवान, अधिकारी, आरएएफ और पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस, पुलिस के वरिष्ठ अधिकारी यहाँ पर पहुंच चुके हैं। यहाँ पर देखिए, ये डीएम की गाड़ी है, डीएम इसमें है, डीएम भी यहाँ पर पहुंच गए। यहाँ देखिए, डीएम यहाँ पर पहुंच गए और तमाम दूसरे बड़े अधिकारी भी यहाँ पर पहुंच चुके हैं।
इरिटेशन किसी भी समुदाय को किसी दूसरे समुदाय को इरिटेट नहीं करना चाहिए, और किसी भी समुदाय को कि दूसरे समुदाय के ऊपर पथराव नहीं करना चाहिए, कानून हाथ में नहीं लेना चाहिए। अपनी बात सरकार से कहें, अपनी बात प्रशासन से कहें, पुलिस से कहें, वो सही तरीका है। लेकिन लोग इरिटेट करते हैं। इरिटेशन जब होता है कि जब नमाज के दौरान मस्जिद के आगे खड़े होके तेज आवाज से लाउड स्पीकर बजाए जाएं, डांस करे जाए, और उनसे कोई मना भी करे तो वो नहीं मानते। इससे हम सब कमज़ोर होते हैं। देश तो कमज़ोर होता ही है, हम सब कमज़ोर होते हैं। और जो भी कानून को हाथ में ले, उसके खिलाफ कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए।
कानून से किसी को भी खिलवाड़ करने की इजाज़त नहीं है। जो भी दोषी होगा, जांच चल रही है, कड़ी कार्रवाई होगी। स्थिति सामान्य है और दोषियों की पहचान की जा रही है। जो भी मतलब अगर अनुशासन का पालन करवाने में यदि पुलिस के अधिकारी कर्मचारियों की भी लापरवाही पाई गई तो उन पर भी कड़ी कार्रवाई।
देखिए, पूरे प्रदेश में मैं पहले से कह रहा हूँ जंगल राज कायम है। वहाँ पर गोली चली। बनारस में 481 साल पुराने भरत मिलाप में राम भक्तों पर इस सरकार ने लाठी चलवाई। मैं समझता हूँ कि उनके बस का नहीं रह गया है, उनको इस्तीफा देकर मठ चले जाना चाहिए।
And we quickly shift our attention to a breaking news update coming in. Remember, today is when the JPC on the Waqf Amendment bill convened. Following this, we're learning that several opposition MPs, in fact, boycotted this particular meeting. And in more breaking news coming in, we're learning that as far as the opposition chorus is concerned, there is a lot of anger in the opposition given that the former Karnataka Waqf Board chairman has given a deposition that Mallikarjun Kharge grabbed the Waqf land. The opposition MPs are likely to write a letter to Lok Sabha Speaker seeking his intervention, alleging that the JPC is being misused. The platform is being misused by the chairman for pursuing the BJP agenda. So this after the members alleged that former chairman Karnataka State Minorities Commission has spoken of Mallikarjun Kharge and has spoken of baseless allegations. In fact, let me go across to Payal Mehta joining us with more details. Payal, we've seen the JPC convene earlier as well to discuss the Waqf Amendment bill. It's going to be presented once again before the Lok Sabha in the next session of the Parliament, but the opposition MPs now boycotting the JPC and also speaking of some allegations that have been made against Mallikarjun Kharge. Tell us how they plan to take this up and what really is the contention here.
Well, today, when the representative from Karnataka appeared before the JPC, he in fact made a presentation, and the presentation copy has been exclusively accessed by CNN News 18. And we do understand that what has been happening in the state of Karnataka, of course, the BJP and the Congress had been at war of words with each other over the allegations saying that, Siddaramaiah among the other leaders had actually grabbed land as well. So, but a starting revelation being made here by the presenter over here, essentially saying that Mallikarjun Kharge also grabbed a Waqf land. It actually led to the opposition MPs going up in arms against the ruling dispensation, especially the chairman, given the fact that such facts they felt were unsubstantiated, but the chairman did not really give them an opportunity. So, as a mark of a protest for themselves, they actually walked out of the JPC. Normally, they walk out of the JPC and they come back after a few minutes. That's how these norms have been seen. But they boycotted the proceedings for the entire day. And they also feel that multiple things are being used. Like early this morning, they had objected to the fact that some Hindu groups were invited for discussion. Why should they be invited for a Waqf board meeting which involves the Muslims? That's something which of course they had also objected to. So what they've now said is that they've said that enough is enough, and the platform is being used essentially to pursue the agenda of the BJP-led NDA government, and that's why they said okay, they will not put up with this. And that's the reason they said that the next thing that they will do, they'll actually write to the Lok Sabha Speaker, tell the Lok Sabha Speaker that the JPC is a very, very serious committee. It's a committee which has a long-term bearing, and in the fact that they were expecting that there will be an impartial discussion on the Waqf board bill, because remember multiple parties have objected to this. But since that is not being happening, and multiple complaints have come about the conduct of the chairman Jagdambika Paloboye, who is of course a member of parliament from the BJP. So they aim to write to the Lok Sabha Speaker, essentially seeking his intervention to make this a platform which is not used by political parties, especially the ruling dispensation over here. That's the argument that has been there. We'll have to just wait and see what really happens, because tomorrow also you have a full day of meeting, and the Ministry of Minority Affairs are going to be appearing before the panel tomorrow.
Okay, Pal, what's interesting is the manner in which the opposition MPs have come out to say that this is BJP's agenda that is being pushed through the JPC, the platform is being misused by the Bharatiya Janata Party, so on and so forth. But the presentations are being given by the several stakeholders concerned, isn't it?
Yes, that's been the argument, saying that stakeholders are coming and presenting their view. If you remember, then recently when there was a meeting that happened in Mumbai, one of those boys, who was a Muslim boy who was actually supporting the bill, was actually in a way bullied by, Kalyan Banerjee of the TMC, to which Mr. Maske from the Shiv Sena party of Eknath Shinde, he had in fact, gone ahead and, taken this issue up with multiple people. In fact, an FIR was also lodged against Kalyan Banerjee. Action was demanded to be taken against him as well. But what they are saying now is that the person who had come out and presented the representation today essentially is a former member of the BJP's minority morcha. So obviously they see a conflict of interest, and they do see that the BJP is desperately trying to grab power in Karnataka by actually creating these stories. That's the allegation of the opposition parties, and they said this is not a platform to actually play political games. If he or she had something to speak about, he or she would have done that. He or she cannot come out and make this blatant allegation that Mallikarjun Kharge and his family have grabbed the Waqf land.
Okay, all right. Many thanks, Payal, for joining us with all those details. We're learning that the JPC will once again convene tomorrow. So let's see how this plays out, or perhaps is taken up by the opposition MPs once again. That's going to really decide how this is headed in days to come. Many thanks. We head into a very short break with that. We'll be right back. Keep watching.
बहराइच में लोग काफी ज्यादा गुस्से में हैं। यहाँ पर जिले की एसपी यहाँ पर पहुंचे हैं, लेकिन लोग अपना गुस्सा यहाँ पर उनके सामने दिखा रहे हैं। और यहाँ पर देखिए, मैं आपको तस्वीरें दिखाऊं तो आप देखिए एसपी के साथ यहाँ पर जाते हुए जितने भी लोग यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं, जितने भी यहाँ पर लोग हैं, उनके लोगों के हाथों में देख सकते हैं आप डंडा है। पुलिस प्रशासन को देखते ही वह गुस्सा भड़क गया उनका। और यहाँ पर देखिए किस तरीके से जो लोग हैं वो निकल रहे हैं अपने घरों से। तो दूसरी तरफ देखिए गांव के अंदर से लोग जो है हाथों में लाठी डंडा लिए हुए वो बाहर निकल रहे हैं। और इन लोगों की बस एक ही मांग है कि जो लोग वहां पर उपद्रवी थे, जिन लोगों ने लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन खराब किया, उन लोगों के खिलाफ सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई की जाए। तो यहाँ पर आप यहाँ पर तस्वीरें यहाँ पर देख रहे हैं, देखिए हैवी डिप्लॉयमेंट, उत्तर प्रदेश पुलिस के जवानों की हैवी डिप्लॉयमेंट यहाँ पर। और हैवी डिप्लॉयमेंट के साथ गांव के अंदर से इस वक्त जो मृतक राम गोपाल है उनकी बॉडी यहाँ पर आ रही है। और लोगों के चेहरे पर आप गुस्सा साफ देख सकते हैं कि लोग किस तरीके से यहाँ पर गुस्से में है। काफी ज्यादा तादाद में कई गांवों के लोग यहाँ पर इकट्ठा हुए हैं। और मृतक राम गोपाल का बॉडी जो है वो इस वक्त यहाँ पर आता हुआ इलाके के एसपी जो है वो लगातार आगे यहाँ पर चल रही हैं। देखिए आप सामने की तरफ जो एजेंसी देख सकते हैं, ये गाड़ियों से यहाँ पर जो है ये तस्वीरें जो है ये बेहद ऐसे में लगातार अधिकारी जो है अभी फिलहाल कुछ ये कह रहे हैं कि अभी स्थिति मेहनत बनी हुई है, बोलने को तैयार नहीं हो रहे हैं, क्योंकि ये पूरा जो मामला है इसमें काफी तनाव हो चुका है और लगातार जो लापरवाही है।
अब भारी पुलिस फोर्स महाराजगंज कस्बे में आ गया है और पूरी फोर्स जो है वो एरिया डोमिनेशन के लिए निकल गया है। हालांकि जो आक्रोशित भीड़ थी उसने यहाँ पर जमकर अराजकता मचाई है। कई घरों में, कई दुकानों में तोड़फोड़ की गई है, कई प्रतिष्ठानों को, दुकानों को, कई वाहनों को आग के हवाले किया गया है। एक यहाँ पर एजेंसी में आग लगा दी गई है जो बाइक की बताई जा रही है, आप देख सकते हैं। सामान भी बाहर निकाला गया है, फिर उसको फूंक दिया गया है। हालांकि अब यहाँ पर पुलिस प्रशासन के तमाम अफसर मौजूद हो गए हैं और इस पूरे हालात को काबू में करने की कोशिश की जा रही है। खुद एसपी की ओर से ये कहा गया है कि जहां ज़रूरत हो वहां पर उपद्रवियों को काबू करने के लिए टीयर गैस चलाया। आप देख सकते हैं एजेंसी में जो तमाम बाइकें रखी हुई थी उनको आग के हवाले किया गया है और पूरा काला धुआं इस पूरे इलाके में फैल गया है। पुलिस प्रशासन इस बेकाबू भीड़ को समय पर नहीं संभाल सका और कई दुकानों को, वाहनों को आग के हवाले किया गया है। कैमरामैन अनिल के साथ ऋषभ त्रिपाठी, न्यूज़ 18, बहराइच।
Remember, there has been a communal flare-up in Bahraich in Uttar Pradesh. The situation is going completely out of hand. The youth who died in the violence that erupted after there was stone pelting and firing that was reported from the Maharajganj area of Bahraich after Durga procession, immersion procession was really being carried out from that area. That youth, the killing of that youth has led to this communal flare-up. We also do know how the body, the mortal remains of the youth was handed over to the family of the victim, and they are now, along with other people from the village, parading the body, and there is an incident of arson that has also been reported. Things are completely out of hand in that area. There has been a direction by the state chief minister for the police to increase manpower at the immersion sites and also police personnel to be deployed at the village. We have just presented a couple of ground reports from this area after these instances of violence and arson has been reported. We can see our colleagues Amit and Rishabh who are on ground along with their colleagues, and they in fact are reporting that the situation is really tense. You can see a bike agency that has been set on fire, new bikes that have been set on fire by the locals who are protesting the death of one of their kin. We are talking about Ram Gopal Mishra, who is a resident of the Rewa Mansoor village. He was shot while walking with the group for the Durga idol immersion. He was taken to a nearby hospital, but he later died during treatment. Now remember, this incident took place when a procession which was carrying an idol of goddess Durga for immersion passed through the Maharajganj Bazaar in Mansoor village, and that's when the stone pelting and firing incident really started, and in that unfortunately Ram Gopal Mishra lost his life. My colleague Rishabh Mani Tripathi is now joining us live from that very area where this flare up has been reported from. Rishabh, सबसे पहले तो आप ये जानकारी दीजिए कि आप सेफ हैं और अभी ताज़ा स्थिति क्या है उस जगह पे जहां से आगजनी की घटना हुई है?
देखिए, हाँ, मैं बिल्कुल सेफ हूँ। हालांकि मेरे जो कैमरा पर्सन
Welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned to CNN News 18. Well, let's talk about the kind of political heat that continues to be witnessed in the state of Karnataka over the government's decision to withdraw the old Hubballi riots case. In related news coming in now, we're learning that amid that controversy, Congress MLC B.K. Hari Prasad has said, as a voter of Bengaluru, I request for withdrawal of cases against innocents in DJ Halli and KJ Halli riots case as well. So that's the latest bit of breaking news update coming in. An appeal from Congress MLC B.K. Hari Prasad that the government must also withdraw the DJ Halli and KJ Halli riots case. Listen in.
ಸರ್ಕಾರ ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೋ ಇಲ್ವೋ, ನಾನಾದರೂ ಸಹ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ನಗರದ ಒಬ್ಬ ಮತದಾರನಾಗಿ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಒತ್ತಾಯ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಡಿ.ಜಿ. ಹಳ್ಳಿ, ಕೆ.ಜಿ. ಹಳ್ಳಿಲಿ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪ್ರಕರಣಗಳು, ಅಮಾಯಕರ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕೇಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ವಾಪಸ್ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇಳಿ.
So that's an appeal coming in from BK Hari Prasad that cases against quote-unquote innocents must be withdrawn in the DJ Halli and KJ Halli cases as well. Now, to give you a little brief on what these cases were all about, remember here as well violence broke out in DJ Halli, KJ Halli. These were areas in East Bengaluru wherein we saw riots break out over an inflammatory Facebook post against a particular religion, and it left 3 people dead, 3 others injured. And here as well, viewers, remember there were as many as 2,000 people who were on the streets vandalizing, setting property afire, and all of this was brought under control subsequently. But an investigation that followed, and we are now seeing a similar sentiment coming in from other leaders of the Congress party that cases pertaining to DJ Halli and KJ Halli riots also be withdrawn. I want to go across to my colleague Harish joining us with more details. Harish, tell us a little bit about the investigations that have taken place in these cases so far and the appeal that's now coming in from BK Hari Prasad.
Well, BK Hari Prasad believes that perhaps there are innocent people who have been booked in the DJ Halli, KJ Halli case, and they need to be freed, or those cases need to be dropped. But a pertinent point to note here is that the NIA is investigating some of these cases, and the state government will have very limited or absolutely no role in deciding what are the charges and who are the people who are to be charged. But nonetheless, this in a way reflects the kind of sentiment or thought process within the Congress party that the BJP has been alleging for the last few weeks or last few days especially, ever since the cabinet decided to drop the old Hubballi police station riots case.
Okay, all right. Harish, many thanks for joining us with those details. Stay on with us though, since you spoke of the old Hubballi riots case and how there is a lot of anger that was also seen previously on the streets, protests being staged by the Bharatiya Janata Party against the withdrawal of these cases. Now the government, the state government in Karnataka, of course, continues to talk about this as a cabinet discussion, continues to talk about the report submitted by the cabinet subcommittee, but we've also accessed more exclusive details. These are exclusive documents that have been accessed by CNN News 18 that show that the Karnataka government dropped another case against AIMIM leaders who were booked for pro-hijab protest during the COVID wave, the third COVID wave. The cabinet, though, decided not to drop the cases against the Hindu college students who protested against the hijab in Davangere district, despite the subcommittee's recommendations for withdrawal. Cases were filed against AIMIM leaders Zahiruddin Ansari and others, and they have now been dropped. Cases against AIMIM leaders from Aland were also dropped based on a request from Speaker UT Khader, who was approached by the local Dargah committee. So while these cases against AIMIM leaders have been dropped, these were, remember, the leaders booked during the pro-hijab protest in Karnataka. But what's being questioned here is the manner in which some of these cases against Hindu college students who also protested against hijab in the Davangere district has not been withdrawn, and this despite the subcommittee's recommendations for the withdrawal of the same. Let's play out some reactions coming in and then we'll go across to Harish.
चीफ मिनिस्टर का कहना है कि ये हुबली राइट केस इसीलिए वापस लिया क्योंकि वो एक फॉल्स केस था।
कौन बोला फॉल्स केस? सुप्रीम कोर्ट उनको जमानत देने को मना किया, उसको केस फॉल्स कहता है। वो इंक्वायरी ऑफिसर है क्या आपका अपना सीएम? उन्हें इंक्वायरी ऑफिसर नहीं है। पुलिस क्या लिखा है? हीनस ऑफेंस है, वापस मत लाना, ऐसा पुलिस रिपोर्ट है। पुलिस रिपोर्ट मना किया, सीएम बोल रहा है सीएम कम्युनल लीडर है, वो कॉमन मैन नहीं है, कम्युनल लीडर है।
See, it is not just suo moto we withdraw the cases, or just like that we don't withdraw. There is a procedure in the government, there is a cabinet subcommittee headed by a home minister, and this will be examined in the department and brought to the subcommittee. And subcommittee, using all its wisdom, it will take a decision either to withdraw or not to withdraw. Then it will go before the cabinet again. Ultimately, the cabinet will take a decision. Then also we will present it before the court, respective courts. And if the court says yes, this can be withdrawn, or whatever the government has taken a decision is right, you can withdraw.
Going across to Harish once again. Harish, tell us a little bit about the explanation that is being offered by the Congress government in Karnataka in dropping cases pertaining to AIMM leaders in the hijab protest but not the Hindu protesters, because a straight allegation of appeasement politics is being levelled by the Bharatiya Janata Party while citing this and the withdrawal in the old Hubballi case.
Absolutely. The BJP is saying that this is a clear-cut case of double standard. They are saying in Alan, MIM leaders, cases against them have been dropped. They are taken out of pro-hijab protest. But in Davangere, against students who were studying BCom in 2022 who protested in their government PU college, those cases haven't been dropped. This despite a cabinet subcommittee recommending those cases for a withdrawal. The cabinet decided not to drop that particular case. The BJP saying that this is a very clear-cut case, not just of double standard, the fact that the Congress party is soft towards fundamentalist elements from the Muslim religion. That's their allegation. That's what T.T. Ravi just told a while ago. And this gives the BJP a lot more ammunition because they've already approached the governor on the old Hubballi case. But politically as well, they are saying that they will intensify protests across the state in the coming days to carry this message that the Congress party is practicing appeasement politics, and it is also threatening the law and order in the state by letting go antisocial elements scot-free in some crucial cases, including cases that have UAPA charges against them.
Okay, Harish, many thanks for joining us with all those details. Let's see the kind of explanation that the Congress offers in days to come, because the BJP most certainly is not going to let go of this. We head into a very short break with that. Lots more lined up when we return. Keep watching.
बहराइच में लोग काफी ज्यादा गुस्से में हैं। यहाँ पर जिले की एसपी यहाँ पर पहुंचे हैं, लेकिन लोग अपना गुस्सा यहाँ पर उनके सामने दिखा रहे हैं। और यहाँ पर देखिए, मैं आपको तस्वीरें दिखाऊं तो आप देखिए एसपी के साथ यहाँ पर जाते हुए जितने भी लोग यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं, जितने भी यहाँ पर लोग हैं, उनके लोगों के हाथों में देख सकते हैं आप डंडा है। पुलिस प्रशासन को देखते ही वो गुस्सा भड़क गया उनका। और यहाँ पर देखिए किस तरीके से जो लोग हैं वो निकल रहे हैं अपने घरों से। तो दूसरी तरफ देखिए, गांव के अंदर से लोग जो है हाथों में लाठी डंडा लिए हुए वो बाहर निकल रहे हैं। और इन लोगों की बस एक ही मांग है कि जो लोग वहां पर उपद्रवी थे, जिन लोगों ने लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन खराब किया, उन लोगों के खिलाफ सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई की जाए। तो यहाँ पर आप यहाँ पर तस्वीरें यहाँ पर देख रहे हैं, देखिए हेवी डिप्लॉयमेंट, उत्तर प्रदेश पुलिस के जवानों की हेवी डिप्लॉयमेंट यहाँ पर। और हेवी डिप्लॉयमेंट के साथ गांव के अंदर से इस वक्त जो मृतक राम गोपाल है उनकी बॉडी यहाँ पर आ रही है। और लोगों के चेहरे पर आप गुस्सा साफ देख सकते हैं कि लोग किस तरीके से यहाँ पर गुस्से में है। काफी ज्यादा तादाद में कई गांवों के लोग यहाँ पर इकट्ठा हुए हैं। और मृतक राम गोपाल का बॉडी जो है वो इस वक्त यहाँ पर आता हुआ इलाके के एसपी जो है वो लगातार आगे यहाँ पर चल रही हैं।
देखिए आप सामने की तरफ जो एजेंसी देख सकते हैं, ये गाड़ियों यहाँ पर जो है ये तस्वीरें जो है ये बेहद ऐसे में लगातार अधिकारी जो है अभी फिलहाल कुछ ये कह रहे हैं कि अभी स्थिति में बनी हुई है, बोलने को तैयार नहीं हो रहे हैं, क्योंकि ये पूरा जो मामला है इसमें काफी तनाव हो चुका है और लगातार जो लापरवाही है। अब भारी पुलिस फोर्स महाराजगंज कस्बे में आ गया है और पूरी फोर्स जो है वो एरिया डोमिनेशन के लिए निकल गया है। हालांकि जो आक्रोशित भीड़ थी उसने यहाँ पर जमकर अराजकता मचाई है। कई घरों में, कई दुकानों में तोड़फोड़ की गई है। कई प्रतिष्ठानों को, दुकानों को, कई वाहनों को आग के हवाले किया गया है। एक यहाँ पर एजेंसी में आग लगा दी गई है जो बाइक की बताई जा रही है। आप देख सकते हैं सामान भी बाहर निकाला गया है, फिर उसको फूंक दिया गया है। हालांकि अब यहाँ पर पुलिस प्रशासन के तमाम अफसर मौजूद हो गए हैं और इस पूरे हालात को काबू में करने की कोशिश की जा रही है। खुद एसपी की ओर से ये कहा गया है कि जहां ज़रूरत हो वहां पर उपद्रवियों को काबू करने के लिए टीयर गैस चलाया। आप देख सकते हैं एजेंसी में जो तमाम बाइकें रखी हुई थी उनको आग के हवाले किया गया है और पूरा काला धुआं इस पूरे इलाके में फैल गया है। पुलिस प्रशासन इस बेकाबू भीड़ को समय पर नहीं संभाल सका और कई दुकानों को, वाहनों को आग के हवाले किया गया है। कैमरामैन अनिल के साथ ऋषभ मणि त्रिपाठी, न्यूज़ 18 बहराइच।
Remember, there has been a communal flare-up in Bahraich in Uttar Pradesh. The situation is going completely out of hand. The youth who died in the violence that erupted after there was stone pelting and firing that was reported from the Maharajganj area of Bahraich after Durga procession, immersion procession was really being carried out from that area. That youth, the killing of that youth has led to this communal flare-up. We also do know how the body, the mortal remains of the youth was handed over to the family of the victim, and they are now, along with other people from the village, parading the body, and there is an incident of arson that has also been reported. Things are completely out of hand in that area. There has been a direction by the state chief minister for the police to increase manpower at the immersion sites and also police personnel to be deployed at the village. We have just presented a couple of ground reports from this area after these instances of violence and arson has been reported. We can see our colleagues Amit and Rishabh who are on ground along with their colleagues, and they in fact are reporting that the situation is really tense. You can see a bike agency that has been set on fire, new bikes that have been set on fire by the locals who are protesting the death of one of their kin. We are talking about Ram Gopal Mishra, who is a resident of the Rewa Mansoor village. He was shot while walking with the group for the Durga idol immersion. He was taken to a nearby hospital.
Welcome back. Well, diplomatic relations between India and Canada are at an all-time low after the latest series of allegations leveled by the Trudeau government, and not to forget the strong response that's coming from the MEA. Now, in breaking news coming in, we're learning that the High Commissioner of Canada has been summoned by the Ministry of External Affairs. This, remember, after the MEA said it's received multiple diplomatic communications from Canada suggesting that the Indian High Commissioner and other diplomats are, quote-unquote, persons of interest in a matter related to an investigation in Canada. And the MEA issued a strong worded response to Canada's diplomatic communication. The MEA strongly rejected the claims, called it political agenda of the Trudeau government. Following this, now the High Commissioner of Canada has been summoned by the MEA. Let me go across to Siddhant Mishra joining us with more details. Siddhant, India is making its position amply clear that it's not going to stop at just communicating very clearly, diplomatically speaking, to Canada, but also personally will take this up with its diplomats in India.
Well, absolutely. And in fact, the sources are telling us that the démarche has been issued to the Canadian High Commissioner. But since we have also been told that High Commissioner is not in town, mostly CDA is going to come to MEA, and perhaps a very strong protest is likely to be registered by the Indian side. And in fact, we could expect this development in some time from now. This is what the top sources in government of India are telling us, that démarche has been issued, and some time from now, CDA could reach the Office of Ministry of External Affairs. It's going to be the priority story for today. Fresh escalation of tensions between the two countries after the Justin Trudeau government decides to make Indian High Commissioner to Sanjay Verma and other diplomats person of interest in the investigation of the killing of separatist leader Hardeep Singh Nijjar. In fact, earlier in the day, there was a long statement which Indian side issued, perhaps exposing Justin Trudeau, his political interest, his links with Khalistanis, his India visit, the purpose of it, and how his government has been doing all this because of the vote bank, compulsion of the vote bank politics. And India has rejected the communication which was made from Ottawa to New Delhi. And now we have been told the High Commissioner has been summoned. In fact, CDA could come in his place, because we have also been told that High Commissioner is not in town. So we could expect that development in some time from now.
Okay, all right. Let's go across to Akash for a deeper perspective. Akash, tell us a little bit about what we can expect in hours or minutes from now, given this summon that's come in for the High Commissioner, the Canadian High Commissioner, given that India has made it amply clear that Canada cannot go ahead and make these kind of baseless allegations without providing enough proof to substantiate all of those claims. What are you picking up from your sources?
Right. So first of all, Christine, I'm showing you the visuals where I'm standing outside the Ministry of External Affairs, and in some time from now, we are expecting the Canadian DCA to arrive here. And in fact, as Siddhant is reporting that Canadian High Commissioner has been summoned, and we are learning that he is not available in the city, and that's the reason why we can see that Canadian DCA would be coming here in some time from now. In fact, it is expected that within 5 to 10 minutes he'll be here. We have seen the kind of tussle in the day today when we saw that Indian High Commissioner in Canada was regarded as a person of interest, and after that, a strong statement by the Ministry of External Affairs here in India, where in fact they have talked about several sort of aspects as far as Indian High Commissioner and the particular position is concerned. And after that, we have seen that kind of the summon that has been issued to the Canadian High Commissioner. In fact, in some time from now, I'm showing you the visuals. As of now, you are seeing media personnel, and in fact, I'm showing you the visuals from outside the Ministry of External Affairs. And in some time from now, we are expecting that Canadian CDA, charge d'affaires, would be arriving in some time from now, and we are expecting that he would be speaking to media as well.
Okay, yes, let's see what his pointed response is going to be, because this communication, Akash, first came in from the Canadian side. India saying it amply clear this time around that despite multiple requests, you've failed to provide any proof. You've been making unsubstantiated claims since September 2023. You've spoken about the same in your parliament, but you've not been able to show any proof around the same. So India saying that show us proof, and perhaps that's why we're seeing this summon on part of the MEA. What are officials in the MEA telling you? How are they going to take this up with the envoy?
So not much as far as the kind of response we have seen. It was a strong statement where it was in fact the allegations were regarded as preposterous imputation, and it is not very common as far as the kind of developments that we are seeing between the two countries. We know that how several sort of developments happen as far as the Niger case is concerned, and India has time and again asked for the kind of evidences, because we have seen the kind of allegations that are coming from Canada, and that's the reason why it has been made very clear that you provide the evidence, and we are ready for the kind of help or assistance you need. But at this point in time, when we saw that the communication was sent to India, saying that the High Commissioner is, in fact, High Commissioner is regarded as a person of interest. Soon after that, we saw this sort of statement, and it is a strong statement indeed. And after that, this development where we are learning about these summons to the Canadian High Commissioner. We are learning that High Commissioner is not in Delhi, and that's the reason why CDA would be arriving. And in fact, all of us are waiting for him, because 5:55 to 6 p.m. is the time, somewhere where
he's out of town. Hence, the CDA is going to arrive at the MEA, and we're watching out for that one very closely. We'll also go across to Siddhant to understand what the sentiment in the MEA is, though nothing really left to doubt given the statement, the firm response that's come in from the Ministry of External Affairs. Many thanks, Akash, for joining us with that update. That's all from me in this edition of Nation at 5. Thanks for watching. On the other side, Plain Speak with Poonam Burde.
बहराइच में लोग काफी ज्यादा गुस्से में हैं। यहाँ पर जिले की एसपी यहाँ पर पहुंचे हैं, लेकिन लोग अपना गुस्सा यहाँ पर उनके सामने दिखा रहे हैं। और यहाँ पर देखिए, मैं आपको तस्वीरें दिखाऊं तो आप देखिए एसपी के साथ यहाँ पर जाते हुए जितने भी लोग यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं, जितने भी यहाँ पर लोग हैं, उनके लोगों के हाथों में देख सकते हैं आप डंडा है। पुलिस प्रशासन को देखते ही वो गुस्सा भड़क गया उनका। और यहाँ पर देखिए किस तरीके से जो लोग हैं वो निकल रहे हैं अपने घरों से। तो दूसरी तरफ देखिए, गांव के अंदर से लोग जो है हाथों में लाठी डंडा लिए हुए वो बाहर निकल रहे हैं। और इन लोगों की बस एक ही मांग है कि जो लोग वहां पर उपद्रवी थे, जिन लोगों ने लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन खराब किया, उन लोगों के खिलाफ सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई की जाए। तो यहाँ पर आप यहाँ पर तस्वीरें यहाँ पर देख रहे हैं, देखिए हेवी डिप्लॉयमेंट, उत्तर प्रदेश पुलिस के जवानों की हेवी डिप्लॉयमेंट यहाँ पर। और हेवी डिप्लॉयमेंट के साथ गांव के अंदर से इस वक्त जो मृतक राम गोपाल है उनकी बॉडी यहाँ पर आ रही है, और लोगों के